Well, ladies and gentlemen, as promised, I have brought an expert. I have brought someone to take away that middleman so that you don't have to go searching any further. We have Michael from Braden Consulting. Thank you very much for joining us today.
Hello, Dan. Thank you very much for having me. It's a great pleasure.
Yes. So I want to let everybody know that in this episode, we're going to be talking about the most important topics. We got together and we decided, hey, these are the things that everybody's asking. So we want to get straight into it. Residency. Everybody's talking about residency. You know, people want to come here as students, they want to come here on different types of visas, and then they figure out that they actually want to live in Russia. So I'm aware that you guys also work with permanent and temporary residencies. Can you tell us about that, please?
Yes, of course. There are two types of residencies in Russia. Let me just call it in Russian language first. It's RVP. RVP means temporary residence permit, and VNG means a permanent residence permit. So the first one is issued for 3 years, and the second one is issued forever. So let's start with the temporary residence permit, right? So yeah, there are certain legal grounds of how you can get your temporary residence permit. So there are two procedures, the general and the simplified one. So let's start with the general one. Any foreign citizen with any type of visa can apply for a quota. A quota is kind of a lottery. It's usually compared to the US green card system, but here the immigration authority really checks your application, quota application. Uh, yeah, just brief information about quotas. So there are a certain number of quotas allocated each year. So that means that, yeah, let's say you're a US citizen with your tourist visa, and you can apply for this quota being in Russia. For example, in Moscow, they accept quota applications every month during the first week of every month. And yeah, our service here is to correctly fill out the quota applications. You will be accepted. Also, there is no state fee, and there is no, yeah, um, there are no obstacles of how many times you can apply for a quota. So basically, you can try your luck every month. Uh, uh, Before January 2024, I would say like 80% of quota winners were citizens of ex-USSR countries. Right now, this situation has been changed. So I would say like, you know, like five of our clients won this quota in March, four of them won this quota in April, etc., etc. So it wasn't the case actually earlier. So that means that again, a quota is a general procedure of how you can get your temporary residence permit. I mean that if you win this quota, that means that you'll get the legal right to apply for the temporary residence permit. Okay. Also, there are certain legal grounds for a simplified procedure of how you can apply for the temporary residence permit. Let's say if you're married to Russian citizen, your case, right? Then
Yeah.
you can apply directly for the temporary residence permit. Yeah, uh, basically this is the whole idea of how you can apply for it. There are certain nuances. For example, yeah, if you're married to a Russian citizen, then you have to be registered. There is this thing that is called um, temporary registration. So that means that when you arrive in Russia, within 7 business days, you have to be registered somewhere. It may be a hotel or hostel because they're obliged to make you the registration. And also the owner, the landlord of the apartment can register you there. So the peculiarity is that if you're married to a Russian citizen and you would like to apply for the temporary residence permit under this legal ground, both of you have to be registered at the same city, at the same region. So this is, yeah, this is the idea. As well as the, if you would apply for a quota, then let's say if you registered in St. Petersburg, then you can apply for a quota there as well.
Awesome. Guys, to summarize it how I understand so that we are on the same page, after you visit Russia, you've been there, you've done that, maybe you meet someone and you get married. The next step is residency. Now, I'm going to get married in the 7th of August, right? So I will have the ability to apply for this temporary residency. So these are just different steps that you're going to have to follow inside of Russia. And sometimes it could get a little bit overwhelming. The paperwork in Russia is not so simple. I'm not saying it's like the most extremely difficult thing, but it really, really helps when you're being guided by the hand. And this is the kind of stuff that I want to bring to you. Take away the middleman and go to Braden Consulting. We were talking about now the permanent residency. Can you tell us about that?
Yeah, sure. First of all, if so, let's imagine that you already have your temporary residence permit. So, according to the law, there is a certain legal ground for the simplified procedure of getting the permanent residence permit. So, if you're holding this temporary residence permit for at least 1 year, actually 8 months, then after this period, you can apply for a permanent residence permit, which is issued forever. Also, well, let's say that you've got your Russian child who is, who has Russian citizenship. In this case, you can skip the stage of a temporary residence permit and apply directly for a permanent residence permit. Um, Here, I would like to tell you about some, new laws. So right now, if you may be familiar with the so-called golden visas, right, in different countries like Spain, Portugal, etc., etc. So we also have our golden visa. Well, except it's not a visa; it's a permanent residence permit right away. And yeah, let me just briefly explain how it works. So let's say you can buy a property in Russia. So it has to be a new one at the construction level, at the construction stage, or it has to be not older than 2 years, right? And there are sort of criteria actually. So, for example, in Moscow, the cadastral cost of such property must not be lower than 50 million rubles. Cadastral cost means that it's not a market cost. Okay, the cadastral cost set by the government. So we're talking about like plus 40-50% of the market price, right? Well, it's quite a lot because, well, you can buy a real nice apartment in Moscow for like, I don't know, 25 million rubles. Okay, and yeah, but still, if you would buy this property and you would own this property for at least 1 year, then after 1 year you can apply directly for a permanent residence permit issued forever. It's also possible. It's called like investment, right? So getting the residency through investments.
Yeah.
And also there are two other options. If you would invest to a significant objects, projects, I mean, in Russia, and also for a certain legal entity, like it's 30 and 15 million rubles. Here, I strongly recommend just contact us, so we should um, you know understand what would be the most convenient way to do if you want to invest. Because,
Mm.
for example, with property, you can get your permanent residence permit after 1 year, and with the significant projects and companies, you can get your permanent residence permit right away after making the investment. Also, I would like to tell you about the IT sector. So, first, if you have the degree, the university degree in IT field, right? And if you would be hired by a Russian company, IT company, which is accredited by the Ministry of Information, then you can apply directly for a permanent residence permit because Russia is interested in getting more and more IT specialists. So it's also possible. Yeah.
Okay. So you're saying, yeah, your consulting company actually can help you find an IT? Like if I had an IT diploma, would you guys be able to help me find a job, or is this just information that you have? Because if I have an IT degree and I come to you and I say I would like a job in Russia, is there any way that you can facilitate that?
Well, actually, we don't provide recruitment services. I
Okay.
mean, the very first thing is to find a certain employer, a company, right? And
Okay.
then we as a law firm, we can check this company in a certain, register. Like there's a website where you can check, but you can also do it by yourself, right? But it's in Russian language. Yeah, you can just check this company if it's in the database, if it's accredited by the Ministry of Information. Then in this case, yes, we can use this company. We can work with them as well to hire you, for example, as a highly qualified specialist, right? And then, yes, we can provide our services of getting a permanent residence permit under this legal
Awesome.
document.
Okay, guys, this is really good information because a lot of you actually have contacted me in the past, and you guys are like living digitally. You guys are some IT wizards out there, and what you have to do, what I would suggest is, and correct me if I'm wrong, could they travel to Russia as tourists and network? Not apply for work, but network and possibly find work and then go back to their country and then uh, look for this job opportunity. Is this possible to do? A lot of people want to look for work, but they should come look for it as tourists. How do you actually find work? That's my opinion how I would do it.
Yeah, yeah. Well, the very first thing is to just check our main websites, which is headhunter.ru, dot ru, and maybe you've heard about Avito, like it's a marketplace, and yeah, and you can find the job offers there. And however, of course, it's always better just to uh, to have a conversation in person. And in this regard, of course, we can make you, well, let's say a tourist invitation, right? So you could visit, yeah, certain job interviews. And but then don't forget that if you would, agree on a certain job position, then you have to go back to your home country to stamp a work visa, and only then come back to Russia, because
Yeah.
again, you cannot, unfortunately, you cannot change the visa type being in Russia.
Yeah, but actually, guys, this is really good news because I didn't know I wanted to stay in Russia until maybe 1 or 2 years, and that's how life works. There's just many possibilities, and it's so good that now we know that temporary residency exists and permanent residency exists, and there's different ways of getting them. And you really need to get the right consulting because, guys, if you try to do it by yourself in the future and you fail, you can jeopardize your opportunities in the future. Okay, let's cut the middleman and let's move on to the next subject that is highly requested from you guys. A lot of you guys always ask, can I buy land here? Can I buy land there? Guys, a lot of you are foreigners, obviously, and foreigners are not allowed to buy land in certain areas because they're strategically placed around the borders of Russia, or,
Yeah,
there's many laws, okay, that you don't understand that you can get the information to. Another thing is, a lot of you guys have heard about the American village. What this was working for was investment. Okay, these were foreigners who were going to invest in land, and that's basically what I'm understanding that Michael's company can help do, because an investment is a road to residency, and that can ultimately lead to citizenship. So if you are the type of person that has enough money to invest but don't have enough to necessarily invest in major projects, land and real estate is a really good project for you to do if you want to get started now.
that's right. You can combine, for example, buying a two, let's say like a land plot and a house itself. So these two, properties would be, mixed, combined. And I just told you that in Moscow, the minimum cadastral cost is 50 million rubles, but outside of Moscow, it is 25 million rubles. So here we can find a really, nice offer, and then move on with, yeah, investing and getting a permanent residency there and live there.
Yeah, let me look up, guys, for some of you guys right now. really quickly, I want to. So, a lot of you guys may think, okay, 25 million rubles, you're looking at a little bit less than $300,000 American. In the long run, a lot of you guys have been saying, why is it so cheap in Russia? Why can I build a house for 50,000? You know, some people have houses in America that are costing 1.5 million in today's market because Los Angeles is insane. Now, just imagine if you were to sell that house and move your life to Russia, you would have leftover money to retire on. So this is just an option. Uh, and it's a really good option for people who have that opportunity. And what we're doing today is giving you the option to kind of map out what you can do for your life. Not everybody's story is the same. Remember that. Well, guys, if you need any more information, I'm going to give Michael the stage so he can give you all of the contact information that you may need so that you can get out there and get your questions answered.
Thanks, Dan. You can find us in Telegram group, Braden Consulting, Braden Channel Telegram group, as well as in YouTube. You can check out our videos about migration and all other legal issues. You can join our Facebook group, and of course, you can visit our website. We've been providing legal accounting and all related services since 2008, and we'll be really happy to help you move into Russia if you're planning to live here, or if you're already in Russia. We'll be really happy to help with all legal issues. Yeah, let's say if you want to be represented in the court, or like, yeah, we have different departments, like a registration department of the legal entity. We can sell your legal entity here in Russia. Of course, we can provide legal services related to family law, etc., etc. So basically, please contact us, as I already told you, that we provide our consultations for free. So just, yeah, contact us, and we'll provide you all these services. Dan, thank you so much for having me. It's been a pleasure. Thank you
Yeah,
so much.
definitely. All the links that you that he's going, all everything he talked about will be linked down below, but you can also talk to me directly because I can give you their information and I'm going to send everybody over to them because we don't need any more middleman, guys. This is it. This is it. This is the last stop you need for everything to do with Russia. Thank you so much for watching.
Thanks,
Bye.
thanks, thanks, Biden.